Good morning, Unity. Oh boy, what a beautiful day. If you remember the chorus of this, shine the light into the world, just grab a note and hang on.
One, two, three. some love to Spirit Sound and our music team this morning. Yay. Thank you so much. All right. Good morning, Unity of Gaithersburg. My name is Reverend Cheryl Myers, and it is my absolute joy to be here with you on... The sun is shining. Yay! Oh, my goodness. We were talking this week about we needed to build an ark. Get ready. Well, it is such a joy to have you here with us on our beautiful, beautiful campus on this beautiful Sunday morning. So let's take a deep breath and let's just gently close our eyes and let's officially begin our time together in prayer. Yeah, so we just take a deep breath and just gently close our eyes and just breathe into the space of our heart. And just feel our heart open and ready and available to be blessed and uplifted by spiritual community this morning. How sweet it is to come together in unity. And so we just set a silent intention declaring that I am love and I express love. Just silently affirm that. I am love and I express love. And in that energy of expressing love, let's take a moment to send all the love in our heart to Santa Fe, Texas, to bless the people in that community. All the people that were impacted by the shooting there, we just send our love. Just send love, send love. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being that expression. And so we're grateful this morning to come together in spiritual community. And as we express the love that we are, we will leave here today uplifted and inspired. So thank you for the presence you are of love and light and joy. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So, if you are here with us this morning at Unity of Gaithersburg for the very, very first time, if you would just raise your hand and just keep it raised. Here, Lauren, we have someone right here. Yes, I know. This is give some love. And if you would fill out the card on the front of the welcome packet and just slip it into our offering bag, all we'll do is just add your email address to our list to get our Friday afternoon online newsletter, and it just tells you everything there is that's happening here at Unity of Gaithersburg. All right, well, let's stand and sing a song together this morning.
All that I sing
Thank you. Please be seated. Happy mood. Everyone's in a happy mood. No, that's okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Brett Savage. Hey, Laura. And I am grateful to be here to share this week's transformational opportunities. They are detailed in our community newsletter. You can receive next week's edition by sharing your email with us. So before going on, we ask that you take a moment, power down your cell phone, or silence it. Thank you. First, there will be a community meeting today right after service. We will hear updates from our board and from Reverend Cheryl about all that is happening here at Unity of Gaithersburg. And we would like to begin right at 12:15 after hospitality. So there will be important information to share, and we look forward to you joining us. Thank you. So, question. You're here in church this morning. Do you have a spiritual question? Well, on Sunday, June 3rd, Reverend Eileen Gore, Reverend Robert Brummett, and Reverend Cheryl will be on the platform to answer your spiritually based questions. Reverend Eileen and Reverend Robert will also be here to begin SEE week and are looking forward to being with us that day. So, do you have a question on your heart about unity, metaphysics, the spiritual journey, spiritual practices, etc.? So, if you do, please submit all questions beforehand at the back table in the sanctuary by next Sunday, May 27th. So we thank you again for your contribution to this special Sunday message on this special day, which is June 3rd. Unity of Gaithersburg will be hosting another magnificent week of SEE, Spiritual Education and Enrichment. These classes are June 3rd through the 8th. We are offering 7 classes that include Unity's perspective on metaphysics, meditation, Bible, prayer, and healing. One faculty member joining us is Reverend Tony Fish. If you don't know Reverend Tony was ordained in the field licensing program and has served Unity of Frederick for 12 years. She is teaching healing and wholeness at SEE, where students will have the opportunity to learn and integrate the teachings of healing by heart-centered metaphysicians Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, as well as other master teachers. Join Reverend Tony and the rest of our amazing faculty and students this year at SEE. We are also asking for volunteers to support SEE Week. If you volunteer for 4 or more hours, you will receive a 50% discount towards your tuition. So think about it. Please sign up to serve at the back table in the sanctuary or our newsletter. For more details and registration about SEE, go to our website, unityofgaithersburg.org. There are also brochures and flyers in our lobby information center. And in a few weeks, we are honoring Father's Day on June 17th with a Sunday slideshow of those who have served as a father to us, which could include our birth fathers, adoptive fathers, father figures, mentors, and others who have served as a paternal figure. If you would like to honor someone, we thank you for submitting no more than 2 photos of your loved one. If you have submitted a picture before, we need you to please resubmit to be included in this year's slideshow. The deadline for photos to be received is Sunday, June 10th. And we also ask that you please submit them digitally in JPEG format to this email address, admin@unityofgaithersburg.org. Thank you. And now please, let's center ourselves as we reflect together on today's daily word. Our focus today, abundance. Our affirmation, infinite abundance is our reality. In the spiritual realm, abundance is an infinite reality. Prosperity expresses in our lives according to how much we are ready to accept it in consciousness. We can allow the flow of infinite abundance to be received with a thimble, a bucket, or a wide open heart. All the wealth in the universe is waiting for our willingness to experience it. As we open ourselves to divine ideas of abundance, we are empowered and move forward with zeal and enthusiasm to claim our good. We are inspired to accomplish great things. We are filled with new and vibrant energy. We take wise, courageous actions that create uplifting, joy-filled, and prosperous results. We accept and welcome infinite abundance as the reality of our lives. We are grateful for the prosperity that is always available to us. And from Psalm 1, verse 3, in all that they do, they prosper. And now let us prepare for meditation by singing, All is Well.
As I close my eyes and the world disappears, I can feel my breath rise and fall. There's a light inside that dispels all my fears, and I hear a gentle voice call. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well.
So once again, let's breathe together deeply and consciously into our heart space. And just begin to focus our attention on the movement of the breath. As we allow that focus to bring our awareness into this present moment. So let's just take a moment to follow the actual movement of our breath, moving in and moving out. And in this space of quiet and present moment awareness, I just invite you to bring to your mind's eye a place in nature where you experience abundance. Where you experience the infinite reality of expansive, creative energy. Maybe it's standing in front of a group of trees with new spring leaves that you feel the abundance of Mother Earth. Maybe it's standing on a sandy beach, looking out at a limitless horizon. Maybe it's in your garden, experiencing the beauty of blossoms and green. I just invite you now to just bring to your heart and mind's eye a touchstone for you in nature that reminds you of the infinite reality of our universe. And just allow yourself to be there fully right now, calling forth your senses, to take in the smells and the sights, what you touch and what you feel. Just notice how you feel as you are in this place that reminds you of the infinite nature of life expressing. Notice if it opens your heart more fully. Do you feel more peaceful, less stressed, less worried or concerned? Just notice your experience. And as we move now into a time of silence, I invite you to continue to see yourself in this place and enhance your experience through calling forth your senses fully to be in this beautiful place that Mother Earth has provided for you to experience the infinite nature of life in this silence. So we take a deep breath now. And recognize that in any moment, we can take ourselves to this beautiful place to remind ourselves of the infinite possibilities, the infinite life that is always available to us. And for this infinite reality that is the truth, we just feel gratitude overflowing from our heart for infinite life, for Mother Earth, and for our power of imagination that can take us to these places with one conscious breath. So breathing deeply again. So it is. Amen.
have ever sung with Spirit Sound, if I've had the pleasure of working with you, please come join us on this song. Trust me, you'll know just what to do. And if not, if everybody's up here.
Can't understand why we treat each other in this way. Taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We've got our love, and no matter how it's said or done, we are one. No matter what we do, we are one. Love will see us through. We are one, and that's the way it is. We are one. Sometimes I feel that we're trying to make each other sad. The things we do, how we make each other feel so bad. We've got our love, and no matter how it's said or done, we are one. From the very start, we are one. Deep down in my heart, we are one. And that's the way it is. We are one.
give some love to our music team. Spirit Sound, Namaste, and Casey. Wow. Let's give some more love. Yay. That's so fun. All right. Well, the Pope. The Pope had just finished a tour of the East Coast and was taking a limousine to the airport. Having never driven a limo, he asked the chauffeur if he could drive for a little bit. Well, the chauffeur didn't feel like he had much of a choice, so he climbs in the back of the limo and the Pope takes the wheel. So the Pope proceeds onto I-95 and starts accelerating to see what the limo can do. He gets to about 90 miles per hour, and suddenly he sees the blue lights of the state trooper in his rearview mirror. So he pulls over, and the officer comes to his window. And the trooper, seeing who it was, says, just a moment, please. I need to call in. So the trooper calls in and asks for the chief. And he tells the chief that he's got a really important person pulled over and asks how he can handle it, how he should handle it. It's not the governor, is it? Replies the chief. No, sir, replied the trooper. This guy's more important. Is it the vice president? Replied the chief. No, even more important, replies the trooper. Is it the president? Replied the chief. No, not that person, replies the trooper. Well, who is it? Screams the chief. I don't know, sir, replies the trooper, but whoever it is, he's got the Pope as his chauffeur. One important person. Well, speaking of a different reality, I have just had on my heart just wanting to talk with you about just prosperity and unlimited reality, just that kind of stuff. Because, wow, can it ever feel scarce sometimes in our life, right? It can feel, as we look at our world, that things aren't really flowing abundantly sometimes. Maybe flowing abundantly in the direction that we want them to flow. Let's clarify that. And so I thought, well, this is a great time for us to do a little kind of metaphysical review about the nature of reality. Are you with me? Okay. All right. So, metaphysics, we're going to talk about, and if you're new in Unity, what that is just we're going to talk about what's underneath the current appearance of reality, okay? Getting underneath the literal. So when we talk about the nature of reality in Unity, we talk about a little r and a big R reality, right? Sound familiar? Okay. So, the little r reality is what we see. I call it rocks are hard, water's wet. Okay, it's what we can perceive with our senses. We can touch it, we can feel it, we can hear it, we can see it, we can smell it. All right. So, but there's a greater reality, and it's the big R reality. And it's what in Unity we call the absolute. Because this reality, regardless of what happens out here, does not change. But that in no way, shape, or form means that it's static. It's dynamic. It's limitless. It's boundless. It's the ceaseless, restless, creative energy of the universe. It is always, always, always available to us, regardless of whether we believe it or not. And the interesting thing about it is, your thoughts do not create this big R reality. me say that again. Your thoughts do not create this big R reality. Because this big R reality, that is this amazing, creative life energy that is the infinite wholeness that you are, infinite life, infinite abundance. This big R reality exists whether you believe in it or not. It is. Now, our thoughts and our feelings create our experience of this big R reality. So, the question that we get to ask is, where are we putting our faith? And faith in this conversation means what you know to be true, what you have claimed to be true. That's what faith is. And it doesn't have to be, remember, it's not about what you see. Seeing is not believing in this case. And this is really beyond believing this big R reality. It's about knowing it and claiming it. So, I know that when I'm stressed out, I'm not exactly putting my faith in the big R reality. Can anybody else relate? Yeah. Because really, when you think about it, folks, when we have our faith and when we put our faith, our claiming and our knowing in this big R reality that permeates everything, what is there really to fear? The reality of this big R reality is that if you go deep enough into anything in this little R reality world, you will access this field. And we call it, in quantum physics, they call it the infinite field of possibility. Many people call it God. Many people call it spirit. But it's this energy, this infinite creative energy. And so when we have our faith, we either have a conscious or an unconscious faith in this big R reality. Now, when we go, typically, unless you've had some car issues, typically in the morning, when you grab your keys and you go out to your car and you turn the key, you have faith, not really consciously, that your car is going to get you from point A to point B, right? That's an unconscious faith. You know your car's going to work. But a conscious faith, I believe, is what we're talking about. That really is going to support us in moving through those times in our life when we look at the little R reality, the appearance, and we get enrolled in it. When we get stressed out, when we get worried, when we get anxious, when we get angry, when we get resentful. And so what came to me to share with you today is one of my favorite Bible stories about faith from Matthew. You ready? Here? Okay. So Jesus had just fed the 5,000. And so when Jesus would meet and gather with people, he would extend a lot of energy. And often he would go away by himself to pray after he would be with people. So he had fed the 5,000, and so he wanted to go by himself to pray for a while. And so he sent the disciples on in a boat to go to the other side. So it's the wee hours of the morning, and the boat is in the midst of a huge storm, being battered by the waves. And it says the wind was against them. And so here in the morning, all of a sudden the disciples look out, and there is Jesus walking toward them. And they were freaking out. They were terrified. They said, "It's a ghost." But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it's me. Don't be afraid." And so here's Peter. And he said, "Jesus, if it's really you, command me to come out to you on the water. Now, can you imagine the other disciples like, this dude is crazy? Okay. So here's Peter. And so Jesus says, come. And so Peter gets out of the boat and he starts walking on the water toward Jesus. But all of a sudden, he starts to notice the storm swirling around him. And he starts to sink. And he cries out, Lord, save me. And Jesus extends his hand and pulls Peter into the boat and says, oh, why did you doubt? And when they got in the boat, the storm ceased. So, Peter, metaphysically in the story, means faith. So, I don't know about you, but I think Peter expressed a pretty brave faith. But what Peter represents, folks, is working our faith muscle. Because if you remember, later, Jesus was denied by Peter 3 times. So Peter represents the faith faculty being developed in our consciousness. And what a great example of how God, he was so clear, he was in his knowing, so much so that he stepped out on the stormy sea, and he did it for a while until he started to get enrolled. Now, can we relate to that? Yeah. So, the truth is, folks, there is an infinite reality. There is a limitless reality that permeates everything, that is present regardless of whether you claim it or know it or not. But the opportunity that we have is to keep walking on the water in the midst of the storm, to keep demonstrating our faith. And there's one more story I want to tell you about someone that demonstrated her faith in a very specific way. And that's Reverend Edwene Gaines. Anybody know who Edwene Gaines is? Yeah. She's a hoot. She's a Unity minister, and she has quite the story. She was a single parent, and she was working 2 demanding jobs, living with her daughter in a 1-bedroom apartment, and living what she called to be a life of quiet desperation. And she and her daughter were in constant financial crisis. And they often didn't have enough money to buy food. They would live on peanut butter and crackers for weeks at a time. And Edwene was a really hard worker, and it was important to her to be in integrity with her bills, but the money just wasn't there. And it was just mortifying to her not to be able to pay what she owed. And one day, she was on the floor, and she had her checkbook out, and she had her bills all around her, when all of a sudden, she just had a moment of great despair. And she just yelled out to the universe, I know, and she's Southern, and she grew up Baptist, I know Jesus came for me to live abundantly, but I am not doing that. Show me how. And at the time, she wasn't involved with the church, but she picked up a Bible, and it opened up to the verse, Malachi 3:10. Bring your tithes to the storehouse and put me to the test. If you do, the windows of heaven will be opened to you, and a blessing will be poured out so great that you won't have enough to take it in. So she started reading that verse 100 times a day. But she was terrified because there was no way that she was going to give 10% of her income. She had heard about tithing in her Baptist upbringing, and she also found her way to Prosperity Books by Charles Fillmore and Catherine Ponder, but she'd always skipped that chapter. So one day she went to see a minister and shared with him her struggle her story of struggle. And the first question he asked her was, "Do you tithe?" She said, "No." "And why do you preachers always talk about that?" So the minister said to her, "Edwene, I have a lot of people who are ready and willing to have a spiritual breakthrough practicing spiritual law. You obviously are not. Please excuse me." And he escorted her out of his office. That was some tough love. But she left and still went home and kept reciting the verse until one day the words sunk in. And it was a test of her faith. She goes, "Why not give it a shot?" She goes, "If you tithe, the verse says it'll be proven. I'll get a blessing." So she tithed in terror. And she would affirm every night, "Creditors can't eat me. Creditors can't eat me." And she would give money and not know how she was going to pay her bills. But when any money came in, she'd tithe on it first before anything else. And she'd send it to a place or person who had fed her spiritually. And when her bills came in, she'd write the check, put it in the envelope with a stamp, and affirm she was ready to mail it when the money came in. And all of a sudden, all these synchronistic things started happening. Aunt Mary would send her some money. She'd get money in dribs and drabs, so by the end of 3 months, her income doubled. As she continued to tithe, her faith deepened, and so did her determination and vision. Amazing synchronistic events began to unfold. Jumping ahead, Edwene went on to start a successful PR and consulting business. At the end of her first year of tithing, her income was more than $100,000. She married, she became a unity minister and a teacher of prosperity teachings all over the world. She now has a retreat center where people walk on hot coals. So, folks, tithing is just one example of how we can flex our muscles of faith to know there's a limitless reality. And I talk about it today because it was my biggest breakthrough in my spiritual journey. And for a lot of us it is, because money just seems to be where we tend to be scarce sometimes. For others of us, it's time. So the opportunity that we have, and the reason I'm talking about it today, is because I just get, it is so time for us to claim our limitless reality and to put it into practice. And we're never going to know who we are and what we can do until we test ourselves, until we start building that muscle. Peter had no idea what he could do until he stepped out of that boat. So what I'm inviting you to do today is just to look in your life and look where you're stressed. Are you stressed about money? Are you stressed about time? Wherever you're stressed, wherever you're worried, wherever you have a scarcity conversation, that is exactly what Edwene would say. Honey, that is where you need to give. Wherever you are feeling lack in that area, what I invite you to do this week is to claim the limitless reality that is within, surrounding, and imbuing everything, including you. You are the limitless reality, folks. And wherever you are feeling stressed, wherever you are feeling scarce, this week, will you take it on? Because I'm with you. Okay, everybody's really quiet right now, and everybody's like, okay, can we breathe? So this week, okay, let's claim the limitless reality. Is there a limitless reality? Yes. Really? Really? Is there a limitless reality? Yes. Are you that limitless reality? Yes. Okay. And wherever you're scarce, think about it. You know where it is. Every single one of you know in your life right now where you are experiencing scarcity. This week, will you take it on? Give. Wherever you're feeling scarce, that is the place that you give. And not just one, and not just one little, it won't start out with a little baby. You can give in terror if you choose that. I don't affirm that with you. But I promise you, it's just like working out. You'll develop the muscle. And please, as you say yes to this practice, will you come back and tell me what unfolds in your life? Yes. Good. Okay, take another deep breath. All right. Let's affirm together. I claim the reality of life's limitless flow. I live and give from that knowing. And let's do woohoo. Woohoo. And so it is. All right.
Thank you, Reverend Cheryl. Well, here we go. Now's our time to give. From our unlimited, woohoo, right, here we go. To give from our unlimited abundance and our open hearts. So, as you hold your tithes and offerings or your consistent giving cards in your hands, here's some additional prosperity wisdom in addition to what Reverend Cheryl just talked about. This is from The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. The abundant life contains all things, whether we call them big or small. We should consciously practice this abundant life from the realization of the all good that is you and everyone. As we give, we realize and claim this oneness, trusting its unlimited nature and flow. So let us now affirm our offering blessing together. Divine love, I am. Blesses and multiplies
all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am so grateful. rocked it, girl.
And let's stand and sing in our youth. Please be seated.
All right, good morning. How's everyone doing? All right. So during today's service, we talked about the power of children to change the world, and this is what the kids have to say about it.
I may be small and my voice not yet mature, but I am powerful because I am. I am all that I am, and I have the power to change the world.
I easily reach within myself to access my divine power to be the change I want to see in the world. I am powerful.
That's awesome. Give it up for our youth.
So let's take a moment and bless our children. Together, you are the light of the world. Live as the light. And before we sing our peace song, if you could just take a seat one moment. We have a couple of people to acknowledge today. You guys have a seat for a moment. Angela, would you come up, please? So Angela Walker has been here for over a decade. And so last year, Angela stepped down from being the music director, and we loved her up then, and now we're getting to love her up again because she has been a contract musician with us, and she has discerned it is hers to do to go into her next adventure. So we would like to bless her this morning and give her, first of all, some flowers. And we also, please do not leave today before you get, there's a box, a red box back there. Those are blessings. If you would write blessings for Angela so she can take those personal notes and just read them at her leisure. And then we'll get to the next person next. But is there something you'd like to say?
Just quickly, this is not nerves, there's palsy in here, so keep that, keep a blessing for that. I started, my first Sunday was Alan and Ann's last Sunday. And I served through Barry Bernard and Roger Goodwin and Jennifer Holder and Susan Myers. And now it's time for me to see what else is out there. I can't tell you how much you guys have touched my life in a quite positive way. These guys are some of the most amazing musicians I've ever worked with anywhere. I met the love of my life, the bass player, here because we hired him to be the bass player. I hired him to be the bass player. So if you want to get a fiancé, go hire them, right? Last thing is I am not leaving the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, through an opportunity from someone that I met here, I've been hired as the new music director for a show that opens at the Gaithersburg Art Barn that's right up you guys' alley. It's called Heard It Through the Grapevine. It's the story of Motown, and it's a sing-along, dance in the aisle kind of play. So I will be sending a flyer here. It opens July the 13th and runs for 2 weeks, and hopefully a couple people that sing with Spirit Sound are auditioning before the show, you might see some more people you recognize. I love you all, and God bless.
So there's one more person. We just found out last night that our precious Lynn May, we've known she's moving to Florida, but we did not know that she was leaving so soon. Hi, darling. So we have a little love for you that you can take a little palm to take to Florida with you. And we also have a little box back there. Please don't leave without your box of blessings. So we've got some blessing to do after this service. And so, Lynn, how long have you been here? About 3 or 4 years. But it has felt like just such a lifetime of blessing and love. So would you like to say something?
Well, I've lived here in Maryland for 17 years. But with this move, now I have a palm tree to sit under. I'm really going home because I want to be closer to the ocean. And that's what I hear calling me. But right there with me, I'm going to carry all the love and friendship I've found here. So come see me. Come see me and visit me when you're really cold in the winter. I'll be there. Come see me.
Okay, so Angela, would you come back up? Okay, so what we do, and we also want to, Casey, would you come up? God, we got some loving to do. Thank you for, okay, we want to love up this man that we love so much. We love you. And so just so you know, these two, they're going to be on our on-call list to come back. Is there anything you'd like to say? No. All right, so let's stand. And what we're going to do, what we do in Unity is we do this blessing. I'll say it first just to kind of refresh it in your mind. And how it goes is we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the light that is you. So, Lynn, Angela, and KC, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the light that is you, always and forever. Okay? And so let's join hands and sing our peace song. Have a beautiful week. Don't forget to write your blessings out for Lynn and Angela. And let's meet at 12:30 for the community meeting. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.